Okay, so I'm refuting the claim that pesticides are detrimental to the environment and to human health. My first claim that I'm refuting is that DDT was a widely used agriculture pesticide in the 50s for prevention of insect-borne diseases. The second one is that DBCP was also banned in 1979. The first claim is that the pesticide DDT was widely used and it attributed to bald eagle extinction. This claim is really not valid because it is no longer in use. It was banned back in 1972, so I think that was over 30 years ago. And the bald eagles, it was attributed to the bald eagle extinction because the bald eagles were drinking the water that the pesticides had inside of them. And bald eagles are they don't like human contact, so they try and stay away from them as much as possible. And their main habitat is up in Alaska, so meaning that they're drinking relatively fresh water, untainted with pesticides. That was cited by a website called Quintessentials. These pesticides have been banned for over 30 years now, and the EPA also stated that the DDT stayed in the environment for about 15 years before it completely degraded. Even then, 15 years ago, after 1972 was, that means that it would have been degraded by the late 80s, early 90s. And so they're completely out of the ecosystem, I guess you could say now. The second, or the counterclaim to that is that there's no real argument because it has nothing to do with today's pesticides. It was back in 40 years ago. The second claim is that the DBCP was also banned in 1979. The banana company Dole used DBCP as a pesticide. They were sued numerous times by employees because they were becoming sterile. They were also having, the women that worked in the factories also had children that had birth defects. This claim is kind of redundant because it has already been judicially taken care of. All the suing has taken place already back in the 1970s. The claim that this pesticide is bad is again redundant because it was banned over 30 years ago, same as the first claim. So this is more or less just a recap of the different pesticides that have already been banned. The employees won countless cases against Dole and the company DOW that actually produced the pesticide. They didn't issue proper safety gear to handle the pesticide, and they did not let the employees know that it was detrimental to their health. There are really no counterclaims to this because it is just, there is no, or it's passed, it's done, and there are no more, there's no more dealing with this pesticide in general. That's my reputation.
All right, Eric, I think you need to be a little bit more assertive about what your ultimate claim is. Both points basically are moot, and so your claim is that there isn't a dispute here, that there's nothing to argue about. It's a nice historical review, but there's no controversy going on here. DDT was resolved more than 40 years ago. The DBPC appears to be resolved nearly 40 years ago, and there's no indication that current pesticides are problematic. I think that the way you want to proceed here is argue that the old examples might demonstrate that there were problems in the past, but the fact of the matter is that the EPA banned one in 72 and the courts effectively banned the other one after the lawsuits in 79. So we do have an effective regulatory process here that will address those issues should they come up. And then make an argument that talks about how contemporary pesticides either don't operate the same way, are studied a lot more, that companies are a lot more careful because they're concerned with the consequences of lawsuits at this particular point. I don't really remember what the inference was that the advocate was making, except that there's a general danger about pesticides. But if these are the only two examples they've gotten, they're both moot, then I think that what you need to do is show, for instance, that there are hundreds of pesticides that are used on a daily basis that don't provide any particular problems, and make your generalization based on all the multiple cases of successful uses of pesticides as opposed to the two negative ones that are 40 years old. All right, thank you.